ways of a vital transportation system serving our region. May we be guided to do what's best for the communities we serve by providing a safe, reliable system. Our decisions impact the lives of our countless citizens who rely on coast. Let's keep the needs of our riders, our employees, and our region at the forefront. Thank you.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have a roll call.
Miss, are you?
I don't.
Hang on a second, I think I have it.
Yeah, okay.
Kitty D'Angelo. She's here. Daryl Eichhoff,
Here.
Lily Jean Johnson,
Yeah.
Marvin Keene is online.
Here.
Elijah Method, he said he might be joining us a little late. Sarah Pope is online.
Yeah.
Bernard Silverman.
Here.
Nick Twig is out today and no Randall Wallace. So, but we do have a quorum.
I don't have any amendments to the agenda, or I'll take a motion to approve. There is on the agenda, there is listed executive session if necessary, and we will have a short executive session. So take a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Second.
Second.
To approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Of minutes. Take a motion to approve the minutes. Approved as written. Second. Second to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Who seconded that?
Aye. I did, Marvin.
They're moving down the agenda pretty quickly today so far. Acknowledgement of visitors. I don't think we have many visitors. We do have a couple. We do.
We have Bella Lake. She's our intern
Hi, Bill.
from, we share with Neighbor to Neighbor. She's through AmeriCorps, and she's a public health major at Coastal. And she's helping us with some more project-based stuff with the website, and is learning all about how transportation and public health sometimes.
Welcome. Nice to finally meet you.
Well, you haven't met Bella yet?
No?
Oh, this is Brian, our GM. This is our, hello.
Yeah, I'm running this freak show. And then we also have Mary Kate Marukian with us from Kimberly Horn,
This is my routine here. Okay.
affectionately known as Kimberly Horn. She's gonna be part of the GM report today, so.
All right, if you'd like to have public comment, would you like to say a few words about yourself? Bella, is your name?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to say a few words about what you're doing and why you're here and so forth?
No pressure.
No, I will. So I'm originally from Greenville, South Carolina, so 3 hours up north in the mountains. I'm in Coastal. This is my sophomore year. I'm really passionate about public health. I think it's a really important topic, and I think it's very applicable to a lot of things in our society. And I'm really into like epidemiology side of public health, and that's where I sort of want to go into. But I just love seeing it all work together, and I love being at Neighbor to Neighbor and helping them with their transportation and like getting everything together. But I love working at Coast because it's been so flexible and it's allowed me to be more technical with the work. And I've never actually like used Excel in a working manner. So being able to get to use that has really helped me at school for different policy projects and stuff. And I'm just really passionate about it. And I could talk about public health every single day and all the different ways that it all
Awesome.
just builds up our communities. And I love it. Yeah, of course.
Have you done a pivot table yet? Okay, well, we'll have to remedy that situation.
Brian loves Excel. He's kind of a.
Have you written the system yet?
No, I haven't. I've never really done public transportation before.
Green Lake and Greenville?
Okay, I did. My dad did have a car for a while, so we did that for
Okay,
a
there
few
you go.
months.
Good.
But down here, not so much since I'm not from around here. But it has been cool. I did help with surveys and logging those into the system. So I did get to see the user's experience with it. And from what I saw, it was pretty positive. I mean, there's a few things that could be added and worked on. But overall, I think it's really good. And I'm excited to be a Coast intern, a Coast RTA intern. And I just love it. I think it's so cool.
Well, if you want to take a ride with anyone here, I'm sure they'll go with you, or you can go by yourself, of course, but transportation.
I mean, it's accessible, so maybe
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It goes everywhere. I see them at Coastal all the time, and I feel so cool when I see them. I'm with my friends, and I'm like, hey, look, I work there.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I love it.
Good. All right. Well, you can take the bus from here to Coastal and back.
Yes.
Take
Get
it.
tow my car behind it.
Leave your car at home. Yeah, there you go. All right, thank you very much. Mary Kay, would you like to say anything? You're going to be saying something later quite a lot, I guess.
I usually.
I don't know where she is. I
She
can't.
talks a lot.
No, I know you're here, Mary Kay. They say she's here, but I don't see her.
She's behind you.
I'm right for Bernie.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, everybody. Mary Kate Merkin, Kimberly Horn, transit planner. Just been working with Brian and Candace and Lauren and the rest of the team on this transit development plan and also on the facility project. So we're talking a little bit about that and what the ride $4 mean for the improvements that we're planning for the system.
Having me.
Well, I saw Mary Kate yesterday in the comments of Myrtle Beach, and she did a great job. She really told the story and told it well and told it fast, and we got out of there.
I have to say, I got a call from Barry Spivey over at the county at like 8:15, wondering who was gonna be where, and I told him like, well, I've perfected the art of being in two places at once, so it's, yeah, no, it's, thank you all, both for covering for me. That was an important discussion there at the city.
I'll also add that there was Coast people at the train depot yesterday for the Title VI public comment. We were there, we did our job. I don't think we didn't get much comment, but we were there.
Clarification.
We had muffins. All right, committee reports. We're gonna begin with service PAC. Dr. Twig is not here today, and he has asked D'Angelo to lead this committee.
Good morning. Well, I'll just go over what we discussed. I'll give the topic and then our illustrious CEO will continue on, right?
Yep.
We updated TDP. And we did get something, we got Title VI that you sent us, right?
That's what's out for public
Yeah.
review right now.
I was gonna copy it, but then it was, I looked at how many pages it was and I thought better of it. So I'll
We
just
have
put
a
it,
copy here, Katie, if you want to take a look at it. It's.
yeah, I went through it, but it's probably on here, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And TDP, do you want to say anything about that?
I think we're gonna kind of, well, we had a general conversation of sort of what. Well, first of all, the TDP, for those who don't remember, is essentially a 5-6 year document on kind of what we're doing from a transit perspective, region-wide, based on the reality of Ride 4. That's gonna add the financial constraint piece of it. And I think, you know, we talked about the different services that we think we can add based on those funding amounts. And we are gonna have a little bit more detailed conversation about that in the GM report.
Okay, all right. And the last thing that we discussed was the entertainment shuttle. And I think we decided that there would be no charge this year again. And that it was running light last year and we hope to get it back up to speed.
Certainly improving expanding, intensifying our marketing efforts for both of those services. We do need to spend a little bit of time in the near future on kind of what those alignments look like, if we need to make some changes. But no, we're not planning on charging a fare. And both cities and chambers alike are on board with kind of helping us advertise it and then we did do one other thing at Service Pack. We did, have some more data on, complaints and
Oh, that's right. That's
call intakes.
right.
We still got quite a bit of work to do on that, but we've kicked the can forward a little bit on that in terms of getting trend data on why people are calling. I think the big thing that came out of that for me was that staff feels like the app, despite its limitations, is doing its job, that we would have way more than 175 calls a day if we didn't have the apps, that was good news, I think. And I think we're doing a somewhat better job of letting our passengers know what's going on with the system in real time on the app. So,
And Lily Jean is, on this committee. Is there anything that you want to add? Well, I mean, is there anything you want to discuss now? Oh, anything that's, nothing. Okay,
so on the Title VI, just quickly, we have a public meeting in this room this afternoon. When does that start? One. And then we have another public meeting at 3 at the Georgetown campus of HGTC tomorrow. And so we're hoping, I think from staff's perspective, we're really hoping to get a few people there because we haven't had the conversations in Georgetown that we need to have related to not only Title VI, but to the TDP and service, improvements that we have planned
what's
on
the
it.
discussion you're gonna have today at 1:00?
It's mostly Title VI, but also letting people know about the transit development plan and kind of what our plans are here moving forward in short term.
Okay, and who's invited to this?
Public, anybody can show up. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
And Lily James, to let you know too, I have, to kind of brought in some folks like Eileen, Pat May. She's been a huge help in Georgetown as we're trying to kind of get in front of people. We were trying to have our initial plan was to have the meeting at, St. Stephen's Amy, and we couldn't get a hold of, before, because he was in session. So it was just kind of one of those things, but, I got a lot of venue opportunities through this, so I'm glad about that. So I will probably be bugging you if I need to in the future as we try to penetrate down there.
So next month,
Line that you sent.
Oh, thank you.
go ahead.
That's it.
So next month, if there's no comments or no changes to Title VI, we'll see it, vote on it.
Yeah,
And,
and then we can turn it into FTA and satisfy our triennial finding. So,
and then, notices on the buses will follow that.
yeah, we still need to do our bus audit. I haven't really heard from staff on when that's gonna happen, but, we're gonna,
This week.
yeah, extend that beyond the Title VI notifications, like, does every bus have the no weapons ordinance on it and code of conduct, and
Yeah.
we'll also do a inventory of what kind of advertisements we have out there and whether or not some need to be renewed or replaced or those types of things. So interior and exterior sticker audit is probably the best way to put it. So we got that coming up.
Anything else on Service Pack?
I have nothing else.
don't think so.
All right, thank you, Ms. D'Angelo. And now we'll go to Finance Committee. Dr. Keen.
Yes, sorry I'm not there. I usually like to be there, so I'll turn it over pretty quick to Brian. But we just talked a little bit about, obviously, financials, a little bit about our plan, specifically, leading up to the transition in funding, and just what we need to do as far as cash and cash requirements and making sure that we're staying afloat, paying bills. So I'll turn it over to Brian to kind of walk through.
Yeah, and I think from a budget perspective, we're in pretty good shape, for the most part.
This is great.
Apparently, Miss Kitty had an epiphany. And I mean, I think a large part of the conversation was about cash requirements. And so I wanted to share with you a new cash requirements that I would like to ask the board to let me add it to the board report as a revised version of the board report. Hang on a second.
I don't think we need any vote to revise.
Yeah, I just consensus is fine, but this is up to date as of this morning. We had to pull in funding for our pension payment, which is happening, I guess it's due on Saturday, so I guess it's happening on Friday. And which was 133,000 this month because December, which is what we're paying pension for, was a 3-pay period payment. And so you could see that the numbers kind of get pretty small until we get to our road use fee payment, which should happen late next week, early the following week at the latest. They've been great over there to get us those in a timely fashion. But the big takeaway here is that I've estimated March 25th is when we're going to need our first substantive loan. And so county staff's been great in terms of trying to get us onto council's agenda for the funding agreement, the sales tax funding agreement, which I think will be necessary in order to do this. Right now, I have 550,000 as the loan amount. We will pay off the current CNB note of 147,000 that same day. So mute. Who's that? Is that you?
Speaking.
Yeah, so you need to mute your, you need to turn off your sound.
But Brian presented the budget to Horry County yesterday at the admin meeting. And there you did forewarn them. You said we're going to borrow over $1 million.
Yes,
And there was no, I didn't see a raised eyebrow. Barry's back this minute, didn't see him.
right. Well, Barry's on board with that. And I think he said on a number of occasions that he thinks we're not being aggressive enough. And he was also very helpful in giving us some pointers to go after those loans. Like we should be doing it as a tax-free loan, for instance, because by virtue of loaning us money, the banks will not have to pay taxes on the interest payments that we make. Things like that. To lower our interest rate, they'll turn that back to us. And so I've been in touch with the transit expert attorneys with Burr Foreman. They sit in Columbia. Franny Heinzer, I think you all have heard her name before, and others to kind of help us along that front. I think, we've had a conversation with the auditor on kind of what that request for loans would look like. We could probably put it out in an RFP. The interest on those will be substantial enough to where it's gonna trip the thresholds for requiring an RFP or RFQ or some sort of procurement methodology.
So Brian, if my calendar is right in my head, the second
30 days
council
out.
meeting will be the 16th of March. And so that's the earliest they would approve the funding agreement. I don't think they'll do it Tuesday night.
Correct.
So is that going to give you enough time to negotiate a loan from the
We'll see.
25th?
We will see.
And if it doesn't, then we're still.
I think the first one might just be with CMB. And we won't be exceeding those requirements, exceeding those thresholds for an RFP necessarily. Plus, I owe them money anyway. So
The threshold for an RFP. Is that our rule?
it's over 25,000. It's in our procurement manual.
So if you're going to borrow,
If I'm gonna borrow enough to where we're paying more than 25,000 in interest, then I think technically I need to go out for bid.
well, the interest is
Interest.
what triggers the RFP.
Right, right. It's, I mean, the auditor made a really good point that if we're using local funds to pay the loan back, which we would be, then he didn't think a procurement was necessary. I mean, he did think it made some sense to put it out to multiple banks to see what kind of deal we can get.
Right.
But then I was reading the funding agreement, and the draft funding agreement requires us to follow our own procurement rules. So,
So that's okay.
that's
good.
fine.
Yeah,
No, that's fine. And so we'll have to try to make that happen.
yeah.
I mean, it is possible to sort of kick the can down the road past, March 25th. Not without a loan, but it would require, getting extension on the current loan with CNB, and I would have to identify other, to meet our borrowing policy, other, potential, income in order to borrow against it. And so I could borrow a smaller amount and just be able to, but I'm gonna need to do it between now and April.
So if you're satisfied with CNB and they pass the funding agreement on the 16th, we'll have no problem.
We shouldn't have any problems.
Back to Warwick County. Right for said mass transit. You think we need them to say all that goes to code, but no financial institution has told you that yet, right?
I've had Franny review the funding agreement, the draft funding agreement, and they're giving me a legal opinion on whether or not it meets the letter that I'm looking
Okay.
for.
Because your approach,
Related to us being the sole provider of mass
They're
transit.
going to give you that.
They haven't given it to me yet.
but CNB has not told you that yet. We think it's, I'm with you, we think, we need
Yeah.
it. but
I haven't really talked to CNB about it. One other thing, in the approval of our budget, in the approval of our revised budget, they are putting in the acknowledgement that we need to borrow in order to make ends meet. So I may be able to use that
Okay.
as the reason why we're good for the loan. And so this says borrowing 550,000, but paying 147 back to the bank to clear out that current note. So it's, it's effectively borrowing 400,000. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Will that exceed the 25,000 threshold?
I don't think so.
Actually, if it now that you can use.
And it should be a lower interest rate.
Should be
Yes.
1% below prime, hopefully.
Well, I don't know if you can say that, but
Why there's tax.
that 147, we borrowed at 7.25%.
Mhm.
I would love for it to be 6.25%, something along those lines.
Once they understand, they can.
But that's prime plus,
7.25 is prime plus.
some number.
So if we're looking for the funding agreement to go to council on the 16th, when will it be in committee?
It'll be at the INR on the 11th.
I
I've
know.
already talked to Barry about that.
Yeah.
So the INR and admin are playing Coast RTA tennis. They just kind of keep hitting us back and forth, so.
Okay. Well,
But county staff was fine with that. So
Okay.
the big thing is nailing Barry and David down to get the thing negotiated. And so hopefully that'll happen next week.
That'll happen before the
It's gotta
11th.
happen, it's gotta happen next week. So I know for a fact that they're in Columbia today, so I know they're not around today. They've been great.
Yeah.
Great. And we've had a good conversation about the issues with wage increases, which I'm hoping to kind of lay some things out for you guys here when I ask Mary Kate some pointed questions.
Well, you've been great with them too, and I think, your commitment to transparency has gotten us way down the
We're
road.
trying. So. Other than that, I'm trying to remember what else we talked about at the finance committee, Marvin. I guess we talked a little bit about financial plan. Do you remember? Did he leave us? He's not on there anymore. Okay.
Well, I got a question.
Yeah.
I guess this is finance, it might be general manager's report, but, they want to know why they want us to start adding service. And we've seen that to be reticent to say when and what, but why are we reticent? Why don't we have a plan? Why don't we start a plan for that? It's coming. It's what they want. It's what.
That's what the TDP lays out. It lays out increases in service.
Yeah, and you said,
So we're gonna talk about that in the GM report, and I'll lay it out again.
because you gave him a date yesterday,
I basically said next summer.
and not
Not
next,
this summer.
not this summer, next
Summer
summer,
26.
26. You made it.
That's a fair number. That's a fair date.
And part of that was because we want to have everything paid off.
And Ride 4 doesn't even start this summer. The payments don't start.
Yeah, it's too late for that.
Payments don't start until the fall for us.
Right.
But you didn't get any pushback when you said.
No, they're great. They're fine. Although we didn't have, Mr. Servant. I was interested to see that dynamic, but he did not make it to the meeting yesterday, so. The chair of admin.
Danny Hardy chaired the meeting instead.
All right, is there anything else for finance? Are you done with finance?
I think we're fine. We're done on fine.
Marvin, do you have anything else to see there?
He left.
Okay, we call that the end of finance committee, and I'm gonna go on to compensation committee and just a short report by Daryl and lead us into executive session at the end.
I'd rather, all my comments, I'd like to be in executive session.
Okay, good. Other ad hoc committees, I think, bylaws look good, and I don't know of anything else. General manager report.
All right, sure, you can come sit next to me if you'd like. So I have.
Yesterday, you've all gotten quite a few updates on the TDP and facility study, and what can we tell you that was new? Hadn't actually around or implemented any of the service changes. And I think with the award of RIDE $4, which is obviously very exciting, it's not as, we've done a lot of work to identify high priority service improvements that we know can start RTA needs, nothing extravagant, but definitely the frequency improvements, the new coverage areas that are very necessary. And that number wasn't what we got from RIDE 4, we got less than that. So we're going to talk about how the money that we did get awarded from RIDE 4 will make an impact for Coast and what we've got planned for that. How we're going to draw down that total $7.5 million annually.
So, okay, so we talked a little bit about in finance committee, the issue that we need to make sure that we resolve, and that is, okay, we're giving you all this extra money, when are you gonna start growing? And so Mary Kate and I were talking about how are we gonna be spending essentially the 7.25 million on an annual basis? Has he done the rest of the building?
Bob.
No planning around here. I was telling staff today, I can't plan my way out of a wet paper bag right now. But anyway, so I have a spreadsheet up here that we're going to kind of build with. And what I asked Mary Kate is, all right, how much do all of these different things cost so that we can lay them in to a schedule and figure out kind of when they will happen? Okay. And so, what was the first thing on the list? The first thing on the list was we're losing $2.6 million worth of road use fees. All right, so the 7.25 million falls into place for that. All right, so
Not really 7.5, 7.2.
It's not new money.
It's not new money, it's covering a loss of some road use fees.
actually, I need to make, I'm putting the zeros in this just because.
Impactful.
So the 7.25 is really like 5.
4.65.
That's something that we also want to make
I think.
city and the county understand. Yes, this is additional money that's going to help, but it's taking a place of revenues that we used to get from the county and the
Right.
city.
It's also replacing, I should put that out in 26.
So it means that we'll be able to operate, but we're not,
It's not enough to move the needle
right,
a huge amount yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna
but
go.
we can cover our bills.
Exactly.
And we're also going to lose the city's funding.
Right, now, the city's the cities have, 350,000 total in their draft budgets for FY 26, which for them starts on July 1st. And so I'm hopeful that we're gonna get some money from both, and both have sort of tentatively agreed to do this, 200,000 from Myrtle Beach and 150,000 from North Myrtle Beach.
For 1 year.
And it's just a check in July, and then they're done for the foreseeable future unless something else comes up.
Why do we ask for more from North Myrtle Beach? Is there a reason? You think they will?
Because a normal check on July 15th was gonna be 62,500. And,
Why?
you know, they spread those out. And so I was trying to be, you know, it's all about the ask, right?
Well, I will say, asking more from North Myrtle Beach, as interested and excited as they are about service, I think if they, because the RIDE 4 funds are not enough to move the needle that much, North Myrtle Beach will.
Yes, they will. Or they have more money than God.
And they're gonna get a new mayor too.
Yeah.
All right.
If the other one gives up. then-
So let's keep going here. So that 2.6 million I have up here on under 26 has a growth to it. So that equals to
And he likes Brian.
times 1.025. We'll be conservative.
That's right.
We're being neutral on anything to do with Georgetown County.
There's not many people.
Isolated, right,
Yeah.
$4.
Yeah, we're sticking to Horry County for the moment. All right. We, as you all are well aware, our 5307 urbanized formula has been maxed out to the hilt to put towards operations. There's a threshold of 75% of those dollars of our annual allocation can go toward, up to 75% can go towards operations, not including PM, so that's something different. And we've been hitting our head in FY 24 and 25, we've been hitting our head on that threshold. So I've got to reduce our appetite for urbanized formulas in operating expense. So let's just call it $1 million. So that's not happening in 25. But we'll do, did I say 1 million or 1.5?
So 1.5 growth, but a million was what you said for the funds for 5307.
Okay, and we'll just put that'll be a,
So that million that you just, that's a revenue million of,
yeah, and so we don't lose those dollars, they're gonna move to capital. And so what we'll do is we're gonna max out our PM on 5307. We might use a few of those dollars for operating, just to kind of, at least over the next couple of years. But I mean, we've been using, let's say it's like, let's just use round numbers, 3 million. So like 2.4 million a year has been going towards operations. And so you still have 1.4 there after taking $1 million out, but then we can use the $1 million for buses or, you know, like capital things, because we've had all this deferred capital that we need to, and I made that point to the council yesterday too. It's like, I've got essentially $72 million in capital expenses, if you include the facilities and buses alone.
so instead of using 75% of 5307 for operating, we're dropping that down to like 60 something, maybe percent.
Not even. It's a third, down to 33%. And we may not get there overnight, but that's the intent.
And that'll go to the capital.
Right, right.
Is that the industry type standard, the 33% industry standard?
Federal contributions to operating.
Mhm.
It really varies. I'd say for an agency your size, yeah, I'd say anywhere from 20 to
50.
50. Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the middle of 33. Okay.
Like PDRTA is over 50% federal contributions to operating, but that's too much. Especially right now, we don't know what's gonna happen with federal funding. Allocations, I think it's safer to rely less on that for your operating.
It's a higher percentage for rural systems.
Yes.
Don't the big systems use all that 5307 for capital and try to do operating from local
Like Marta,
or whatever?
Marta would use as, they probably spend their entire allocation on preventive maintenance.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a $1 billion a year system, and they get maybe 100 million in 5307. So it's a much smaller percentage of their overall budget.
I'm smiling back there.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know why. He's got something coming up at the end of the GM report.
I'll tell you, buses just keep getting more expensive.
Okay, shortfall on current services. What was that number?
800.
800,000.
What does that mean, shortfall? Does that mean?
Remember the budget issue that we had? We had a service cut planned if Ride 4 didn't happen.
Okay,
So I need some of that 7.2 million to pay what we're doing now.
right, okay.
And that doesn't change really. So over time, that's gonna probably have a little bit of growth to it. We'll say 3% to that. So it's 800,000 this year. Times 1.03. And that goes,
Like you're saying, out of the 4.65 million that's left after we subtract the,
800 is, we gotta come out of that too, because we're just covering.
and that's just covering our.
it's just covering what we do now,
Now,
what we do now.
we can keep doing exactly what we're doing.
Stop the bleeding.
What was the number for salaries and wages increases?
0.4.
400,000 for that.
So that's a $4.50 an hour increase for operators across the board. Yeah,
The big increase.
but it's a big increase, but to
What they
remain,
deserve.
they deserve it, and to remain competitive, you have to be, you have to not just meet the competition, but exceed. Staffing is a huge issue, and if you do ever get to increase service in a real way, it's not just about having the money to operate it, it's having the drivers. Nobody wants Brian driving the bus.
Is that 450 over a period of time?
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Lily Jean. And what I did is I kind of eased into it a little bit. We're not gonna do all of that at one time. We've got to do that over the course of the next couple of years. And, that will be in the compensation plan, which you would, hopefully will see next month.
We need to talk about that,
So,
because I don't think that's how it's modeled.
oh, yeah, okay. That's why we're having this conversation, so we can kind of get all this down on
So
paper.
you ease into it, you put it all in 2027.
Well, I have I just did 250 to 450, and then I grew it from there, you know, at normal inflationary rates. It may not go that fast, we'll see. But I mean, this is being conservative, getting it in faster than shorter or than longer. And I also think that is a critical number for the county. It's not, in the overall scheme of things, it's not a huge amount of cash overall. And I think that they need to recognize that because there's definitely some trepidation on their part about how we are laying in those dollars. You know, and it's less about whether or not our folks deserve it and more about we need more service.
Yeah,
So, and I, you know, when we had this conversation, well, we don't want to get too far into that. It's contractual matter, so we'll leave it at that.
Well, but I'll say, I'm working with agencies that have a lot of money. They have dedicated sales tax referendums, 100% for transit. And they are not able to run the service that they have money for because they cannot. So that's a bummer. So you don't want to be in that position. This is a super, like Brian said, it's not that much in the grand scheme of things.
what this discussion is now is we're saying we're gonna get 7.25 and then we're gonna lose such and such. We're left with such and such. And where's that money going?
But that's not all. We have more.
But there's more.
That's not where it's going.
Yeah.
And in the first year, we got a lot going to pay the loan we're gonna take out in March and probably one more, or whatever more.
Right. But I guess part of that though is expenses that are already in our budget. And so there's 3 million in revenue coming in sales tax in this year, along with in the neighborhood of 1.8 million in road use fees that we've already collected.
Like one more.
Right. And so really what we're paying back is money that we've already recognized. Right. And so you know, like the only downstream expenses of that is the interest. That'll come out of FY 26 budget. And so then the last one was, where did she go? She wanted to go to Muffin? Microtransit van pool, which is really our biggest dog in the hunt in terms of, wait a minute, I don't have I gotta add in here, the additional frequencies.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I'd rather do frequencies
Yeah,
first.
no, we're doing both.
Okay,
We're doing
We're
both.
talking about reinstating frequencies on 17 and
Yeah.
15, 7 and 15,
good,
And also increasing 17.
17, yeah.
good. You already beat me to the question I was gonna ask.
Yeah, you're on top of it. So what was that number?
That's a million.
All right, so in 26, it's really only a quarter of that, so it's 250 for that, and then a million and 27. So I gotta put the timing into this. What?
So that would be $1 million annually to get back to that frequency on those those 3 lines.
Roughly, it's 3 buses
Yeah.
putting into service, so a little bit, it's probably a little less than a million, but for these purposes, we're putting in a million.
What's left? How much we got left?
I'm working on it. We still got one more thing to do. Not much. And that's the point we're trying to make, is that these are expensive things that we're putting into place. And
Been underfunded for so long.
we've been underfunded, right?
We're just
and
gonna
it's-
catch up.
And it's the county's number. It's not our number.
Right.
So, we're just working with what we're dealt.
You're saying the 7.25 is the county's number.
It's Barry's number.
Right.
That thing that we presented was 7.
Okay, what about microtransit, Vanpool? We've got 85,000
Half a million.
in, this, and so it's 500,000, but we probably won't get there until 27, right?
Right.
So we'll put 500,000 in there, put 250 in for 26. Well, it's actually a quarter. So it's like, that would be 200, we'll call it 200. So I'm hoping Vanpool will go a little bit faster.
So I should have erased the 600,000 micro snips that I filed away when I talked to you previously. 500 was a better number than 600.
Well, because it's gonna be a kind of a combo, so it's gonna, paratransit, it's gonna be doing double duty in a few areas. I think there's probably only gonna be maybe a couple areas that are completely dedicated microtransit zones. The rest will be partially covered by paratransit. You might have to throw an extra vehicle.
Airline Force, here we come.
Exactly.
Okay, so based on these numbers, let me, if I can highlight this line here. So what I did is I took the amount of sales tax revenue. This takes a lot of other factors out of the, oh, Randall Wallace is joining. This takes a lot of other factors out there, whether or not, like, I think a lot of these microtransit services will be eligible for additional funding from Title III, which is aging populations, or 5310, or South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce. So there's other sources out there that we can go after for some of these small services. So,
Well, and
Go ahead.
I'll say, in addition to the transit development plan, we've also been working on a human service transportation plan. And that's required from the MPO in order to allocate funds to programs that have to be identified in that plan. And so the good news is, some of the recommendations and services that have been identified in that plan also match up with the TDP, which is why we did them together. So we will be able to draw down from those MPO distribution.
We've had a human services plan in the past. That's the first time I heard that term.
The MPO, the MPO has it, it's their plan, because they are able to contract with like third-party private, like, cabs and things like that.
I wrote the first one for the region back in like 2007.
You wrote the human service.
It was a contract with the state, and I did, there was 10 regions, I did 5, and can't remember the name of the other company that did the other 5, but one of my regions was Waccamaw.
Yeah.
And so they were updating that. That's like the 4th or 5th iteration of updating that
We
plan.
did that, didn't we?
Well,
I did.
Yeah, we knew that. I think.
I have some questions. I don't know if this is the time. I know you're
Go
working.
for it.
What about O&M reserve?
So at the end of FY 25, we have $1.18 million that we haven't spent out of the money that we've recognized out of the sales tax. There's your O&M reserve.
How about our capital program? How much money is going to go to capital program?
So over the next 6 years, 25 through FY 30, we have $6.8 million left over in sales tax. So that can go towards local match on capital programs.
So is that gonna,
It's still dependent on getting additional federal dollars,
right.
which is a total crapshoot at this
Yeah,
point.
well, yeah. Is that gonna put us in capital heaven? Are we where we need to be, or we're still gonna be struggling with buses out of, out of useful life and stuff like that?
So we had talked about, so the leftover, so we, O&M reserve, yes, but also that's where funds for the bus stop improvement program, bus purchases, that's where that's coming. So you might have to keep some sort of reserve, you're gonna have to phase in those bus stop improvements and bus purchases. You do have quite a few buses to replace. So it won't be 1.1 really for O&M. It'll be,
Yeah, I'm not suggesting the highlighted numbers here are going all to O&M. I would say they're all going to either our O&M reserve or to match capital dollars. On capital projects.
And then going forward, can we like allocate a certain amount of money for capital each year to kind of step up 2 buses every year or 1 bus every 3 years, whatever we need?
And there's a couple things that Kimley Horn is working on right now that are going to help shore that process up. First and foremost is a new cost estimate for the facility, which we can talk about. Related to some things that they're actually out there right now redelineating wetlands. And we're getting the calculation for stormwater, which is going to help us set the site plan. Once the site plan is set, we can do a new cost estimate. We can reduce contingency in that cost estimate. That tees us up for putting out an RFP and starting to get it designed and that sort of thing. The other thing that I just want to make the board aware of is that the county has been very amenable to helping us with what I'll call outside funding opportunities, or at least collaborating with us on outside funding opportunities. And that includes the federal level and talking to our local delegation in Washington about the federal needs for RIDE 4. And the county's going after $1 billion over the next 25 years. We just need 20 million right now. And maybe, a few million every now and then for buses. Riding their coattails on that conversation is something that I think we really need to do. Also with the state's got infrastructure bank, the state's got, we know what a mess OPT is right now, the Office of Public Transit, but they have some money to spend. And so we're going to continue to try to wrestle some of those dollars away from them. But then also with the MPO, RIDE 4 opens up a lot of federal dollars with the MPO's program in the Transportation Improvement Program. And there's some opportunities there to flex Surface Transportation Program, which is a federal highway program to transit to buy buses. Or, it's smaller type of, in fact, we did that in order to fund the original planning work for all the facilities. So that was flexed SDP dollars that came to Coast RTA through the NPO. Is that enough acronyms for you?
I got 2 more. Can I go on?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, how about an additional admin person to be your assistant? Is that you have any plan in there for that?
So our budget in FY 25 incorporates those. So that's already
In the budget,
baked into the.
Deputy GM is in our budget.
It's an extra staff person, so I'm not sure what it looks like yet, but obviously that's not going to be a full year's worth of
In the 20.
salary at this point in the 25 budget.
$20 are you talking about?
I don't remember, 50 to, but it's
At half of the year.
it's a quarter of a year at this point.
1,000 if you did have to.
Right.
includes benefits.
My last thing that here is like how much money will we have for new service and when will we start to have it?
That is a harder number to come by. and it also depends on other funding sources. We don't know what's gonna happen with 5307 with the new administration. Hopefully, we've got 2 more years on our current trajectory, FY 25 and 26. We don't know what's happening, you know, we're gonna need some help with from Georgetown for some service down there that we wanna do. And so that's still a work in progress, although they've been amenable to try and help us at some point.
So when INR committee or county council says, or Barry says, okay, what's the new service? When's it coming and what's it gonna be? So then we give them this list and say, it's hard to say.
When we say it's microtransit, it's increased frequencies on your high demand routes. And
They start next year.
that start next year, yeah.
And then after that, we'll
We'll
see.
see. And then it's do sales taxes come in higher? And yeah, are we still gonna get federal funds?
Well, yeah, the federal fund thing is, but would we not be in a stronger place if we could say, okay, we have all these things going, we don't know when we can start, but our first route will be a route from Myrtle Beach to, I don't know, somewhere.
Well,
Well, we have, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
We don't know that, but
We have other routes and service increases identified. When we came up with our ask of the ride $4, what we were asking for was 1/7 of a penny. So the 1/18 of a penny was much less, but we do have actual services, frequency increases, new routes, and costs
Is
associated.
one of the new routes Lawrence to North Myrtle Beach?
So not all the way, but we do have an extension of the North Myrtle Beach route that that connects at the hospital.
Okay, that's probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we've got that one.
So-
so where's that? I mean, it's in your head, but is it somewhere else?
On maps, we have maps that's on, and it's in my head.
was any of that outlined in the TDP as sort of
Yes.
longer range?
It's the 10 to 15 here.
I put Mary Kate in headlines and gave her a nugget yesterday to get us an actual document that
Well, we've got.
is titled Transit Development Plan,
And then for what did you say?
an actual transit development plan. So that you're gonna get a memo here that should lay some of that out.
Okay, I'm not even a nookie.
But you're not gonna get a nugget.
And
Now that you've gotten your haircut.
what year will it be going to the hospital?
We don't know that.
Oh, you don't know that yet.
So,
That's a priority with unidentified funds.
so, but with the additional frequency on these main routes, we have the opportunity to add in some service with that. And the
Yeah.
reason why I could say that is that right now, the running time between this location where we're sitting now and Myrtle Beach for the Route 7 is 150 minutes. So it's 2 buses, that gives you 75-minute frequencies. If we add a third bus to that, and you want 60-minute frequencies, that means 3 times 60 is 180. So I've got 30 minutes of running time over the 150 to add in some service. My thought, and we need to talk about this at the staff level and at Service Pack, is to continue Route 7 up Church Street and run the Church Street portion of Route 1 on Route 7. And then we have opportunity to make some changes to Route 7. Maybe we incorporate that with Bucksport. Okay, so that $1 million doesn't all go straight to Route 7. You can do something similar with the 15 South because you got the same set of circumstances. I think we run it above the transit center, up Grissom Parkway to serve the top end of Carolina Forest. And then we go to hourly service there instead of 2 hourly service. So there are pretty significant increases in service baked in to just those frequency increases.
Do we still have the postal R's?
Yes, we do. It's only 2 trips a day.
Yeah.
And-
That
and-
bus can come down.
And Mary Kate's data says it works better if it's just a circulator in Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's where the trips are.
Yeah.
So we're not connecting
Oh,
it
they're
to,
not going
not
in.
connecting it to.
I thought they.
Lawrence now comes back to
Said
here.
at first that the nurses were using it to
Right.
come down to the,
So that it's, right now they have to come through Conway and then go down, and nobody's doing that.
oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, so if there was an opportunity to connect, or we do see some travel demand, just generally, not transit, but connecting Loris with North Myrtle, that's a little farther out, but at
Well,
least,
it's more shopping for people too, you know, and
But
Yeah.
TDP, did I hear you correct? Did you not tell the county yesterday you were gonna give them a hard copy of the TDP in the next couple of days?
Yeah,
But that's the 5-year plan.
yes.
That's
You
a five-
refer- But you referred to year 6 through, those out years, we're not giving them yet.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's sort of.
So when we see that plan, we'll be able to,
There will be,
we'll be able to talk about the future. We're not going to say when, we're not going to say exact, but our plan in the future is to add service in these regions, and we will do it when all these other things are met.
we had this vanilla agenda for today's meeting, and it occurred to me that we need to keep having this conversation so you guys are educated on exactly what we can and cannot do. And so this exercise between Mary Kate and I yesterday was quite eye-opening in terms of kind of where are those dollars going so that we could start telling the story
Yeah.
to the outside world on what we can and can't do. A couple of things here. I've only put 3% growth in the sales tax numbers, just to be conservative. So if we get the 4% like they're projecting, there's another, what is that? I guess that'd only be like 70,000 a year that just goes into our coffers, and it can be used for operations, it can be used for capital, it can be used for whatever.
Yeah, I think we need to remember that even though all this money is going to go to these different things, and we got to catch up, and we got loans, and we're way behind in capital, that the Ride 4 committee and the voters put us on Ride 4 because they were seeing increased service.
That's the thing.
Right.
Or not, we can,
Right.
whether or not we saw that, and we told them that, so,
Yeah.
from the beginning, that's not what's going to happen. It's going to be, it's just going to get us where we need to be now.
Well, and plus a little.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's not incorporated in this is when we do eventually move to Myrtle Beach, there's cost savings associated with that movement. Not the least of which is $250,000 a year to lease a maintenance facility.
Yeah.
And then,
200,000.
reduce deadhead, better response time to service interruptions, all sorts of stuff in that number that we can put back out on the street. Those expenses we can put back out on the street.
Ernie, expand your comment on expectation of the public when they voted for the referendum, increased service. The people I talked to at these meetings I went to, they really wanted more frequency than a whole new route that we never served in the past. My
Yeah, that's a
personal
good
comment
point.
was,
Yeah.
well, Ms. Cole in this article here, she was very flattering, but she's talked about how she spends all day, and its frequency is the issue that affected that one writer.
So do you,
So we have cost, so our deal scenario has some kind of what Brian was talking about, rearranging Route 7, Route 1 to cover some new areas of Conway, but also just frequency increases across the board. Your high demand routes should be operating at least every 30 minutes all day. Your periphery routes going out, they should be operating at least hourly. And then your highest demand routes should be operating 15 minutes at least in the peak. So if we do have those scenarios costed out that we'll detail, that's not going to be within the first 5 years. It might not. I mean, hopefully it'll be within the 5-10 year mark once revenues come in higher, but it's not going to be immediate, but we do have those improvements identified.
You ever have any data on, like, say you double the frequency, do you double the ridership?
Yes. I mean, it's not double, but yes, absolutely. You increase frequencies, you're absolutely increasing ridership.
We need to remember that with additional services, there's a possibility that the population is not there to warrant it. That will mean pulling the service for the few people who depended on the service. So whether that
Yeah.
disappoints them because it didn't work out, because the numbers who use the facility, transportation, did not warrant that particular additional service.
Yeah, that's going to happen to that one rider who comes from Loris to Conway.
Yes. Well,
I think everyone needs to be resigned to the fact that we're not losing our MO of being a coverage system with this increase in funding. Does that make sense? We're a coverage system. We've developed our system over 40 years to cover as much service area with a limited frequency that we have. And going to a corridor-based system, which is what most big city transit systems are, even Charleston, putting their BRT, I can never remember the name of that road, that parallels I-26. that's a corridor-based system, and you're gonna want to put 10-minute frequencies on that during the peaks. And you will pull some people out. You would more than double the ridership on that route, by doing that.
Are we still getting money from the, I know this is not the same, but still getting money from the part of North Carolina that overlaps with us at the border?
A better
That's-
preposition would be we're getting money for that area. The money comes to the MPO, the urbanized, formula comes to the MPO,
Right.
and they have to set aside dollars for North Carolina.
And when it gets ready to sunset, it becomes.
Then it comes to us after they don't use it.
And what are we supposed to be doing with that? We supposed to be giving them service?
Only if they're gonna pay their share. And so they've never been willing to do that. So then we use it in South Carolina. Those dollars from the feds.
And there's no problem with that.
No.
Okay. But
Um,
there's not enough money to bring our North, Myrtle Beach bus up to the border.
well, I will tell you that there has been more, for lack of a better term, more noise about the opportunities of serving like Calabash and some of the areas over the line because they access services in North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, they do everything in
So,
North. Myrtle
so
Beach.
I think there's gonna come a day where they may ask us to provide services up there.
Hmm.
But obviously, you know, I have the same issue with Georgetown County. I can't
Right,
spend Horry
right.
County resources in Georgetown County. I would not be able to spend any South Carolina resources in North Carolina.
And you're really not getting that much.
You
And
only
it's
get,
only about 90,000 a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'd have to come up with the rest somewhere else.
Of money. Now, we could allocate it, like if we had you know, like a commuter route, similar to what we do, with Route 16. You know, that starts up there and comes down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, then we're only gonna allocate them their portion of that expense. But it would require
Yeah,
significant money from North Carolina sources.
people in North Myrtle Beach and Little River use or in Calabash because that's where they eat.
Well,
Restaurants
the-
and different things.
I'm sure that's the case. Most of that rhetoric has been surrounding seniors and getting them to medical. So like the senior center up there would love to get their folks down to
Oh.
medical.
But that's mostly Spanish people, isn't it?
I don't know if I could say that.
No, well, I know they have, because I've been there and I know they have Spanish-speaking nurses and doctors there.
Okay. Oh.
And I know a lot of our lawn services goes there, they're Spanish.
at the Little River Medical Center in North Myrtle, those people from North Carolina are more Medicaid type patients.
Probably.
I had a couple meetings there on different
Yeah, yeah.
hat on, but they were.
And I mean, it's really a matter of proximity because the Brunswick Hospital complex is further away
Oh, it's way up.
from those
Way-
than what you get to Seacoast or Little River Medical Center.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
but they,
coming.
but they go there because, I don't know, it's because they speak the language or it's more reasonable. And sometimes if they do have insurance, that's the only place that they get.
According to the MPO, which is Elizabeth Tucker now, it's most of the conversations coming from NCDOT, not from Brunswick County. And so honestly, it's noise at this point because you're gonna need Brunswick County in that
When
process.
we were first aware of that years ago, with the monies and all, their monies was going to, was Wilmington, and they were using their monies, which was illegal.
Yeah, that hasn't happened under my watch.
No,
It's been
no, it
going-
hasn't.
It's been
Way
going to
before.
Brunswick.
No, that was way before. Right.
And Brunswick Transit is essentially they're more of a human service transportation. They get rural dollars from the NCDOT side of the house. And they've expressed no interest in moving into the urbanized portion,
No, and they,
which is down along the beach.
right, and everybody calls for their service. They don't.
Right.
The Calabash rep at GSATs. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't talk to him. I said I could talk to him.
I don't think there's any reason not to talk. I mean,
I mean, he's quiet. He's
Yeah.
didn't say anything at meetings, but he's there.
yeah, I mean,
Used to have a woman-
there's been issues from North Carolina DOT about the formula that MPO is using, our MPO is using to set aside the North Carolina dollars. And at this
You
point,
take that up to the MPO.
yeah, I mean, that's an MPO problem. But then during those conversations, they've asked us about the possibility of providing some service up there. And I'm like open to it, but they're gonna have to come up with a cash to
Do you
do it.
remember, Bernie, there used to be a woman that was in charge of that and she knew nothing about what was going on. Do you
Well, she know nothing about it.
Somebody, Yvonne? Yvonne?
What was her last name?
I don't know, she was a young woman. She was a
Yeah,
young woman.
yeah.
Well, she was young.
Everybody's
12
young,
years
young,
ago.
compared to me.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, as young as once.
But
Yeah.
she was amazed at the things that we were told that we knew about what was going on there. And
Yeah, she had no fixed route service at the time, and still doesn't.
she still does.
So I have a couple of pointing questions for Mary Kate. Mary Kate, explain to the folks what the optics of microtransit service are.
Sure. So it looks very different than the service that you operate today. Today, you're running 35, 40-foot buses down major corridors, and you're trying to pick up folks efficiently by running straight and picking up as many folks as you can. Microtransit looks different. It's vans, it's 22-foot cutaway vehicles, and you're operating within a zone. So it's not as many people, but vehicles are full. It's a completely different type of service. It's flexible, it's curb to curb, it's on demand. Depending on the type of technology you want to implement, you could use an app to request rides, kind of like a publicly funded Lyft or Uber, or you could still have the call-in option for your paratransit. But the reason you need those is because, to Bernie's point, you have to show some sort of growth and expansion or meeting some sort of unmet need now. And microtransit presents a great opportunity for that. In our analysis, I'm trying to figure out which map, we might not have that, but we found areas across the region that travel was pretty localized, like Loris, like Merle's Inlet. Those areas have pockets of senior populations. They have pockets of folks that are low income, zero vehicle households, but also the travel just kind of is clumped right there. So it's not running a bus down one street is not the best way to meet that need, but there are needs to be met. So you have paratransit that operates within 3/4 of a mile of your fixed route. Those vehicles can do double duty and pick up folks while they're picking up paratransit passengers in that same area. Or you can just dedicate a bus in these confined areas so that you know that customer, you'll be able to meet that demand within a reasonable amount of time, not too big of an area. And you just have the bus there all day or a vehicle there all day and you're responding, request over a 10-hour
Well, it's
period.
like a nursing home. They have their own bus and they take their people to the store,
Doctor's appointments, senior center.
right, and they have a whole busload of people.
Yeah, Mary Kate. Go on.
I know in North Myrtle Beach, that's a complaint I hear. We have a bus that runs, but it's not running where these people are. These people are old, they can't walk. They can't walk a mile to the bus.
Right.
And the thing is, they might live in areas that might be spread out and it might be areas of low density and it's hard to serve areas of low density with a big bus.
But we have a lot, in North Myrtle Beach, we have a lot of complexes, and they're all retired people, I mean, and with money.
Sure.
With 2, 3 cars,
Yeah.
and, but they still, when they come from someplace else, the first thing they want to know about service.
Sure.
In case they can't drive, because they get to a point, everyone gets to a point where you can't drive any longer.
Yeah.
And what do you do? You
Right.
can't
I think-
call a taxi because you can't afford it.
Bernie, did you have a question?
Yeah, like in your schedule of these things that would take money from the 7.25 down the line, where would you put microtransit? Like before or after like reinstatement of the routes we cut back, or before, adding frequency or a new service or new fixed route
It's
service?
number 9 on that list, which I like. It's behind both those things you're saying.
Frequency is more important. Yes, I think frequency on your current routes is more important, but I don't think you'll have to make that choice. I think you can phase in the
You will.
amount. Maybe you're not doing a dedicated service in Loris, but I think that you can start with some.
You don't have to do them right,
Right?
one at a time. We can do them,
It can be grown
yeah,
over time.
we can start a few different things and grow them
I think
Frequency first, yeah.
there's two key points though about microtransit that Mary Kate made that I just want to kind of reiterate. One is it's not a ridership generator per se. It's not going to do 10 to 15 passengers per hour like your transit system does. And so it's going to have a different, even though, for instance, even though I have councilmen who have applauded the idea of like Mr. Howard has like said, you need small vehicles many, many times. And I'm fine. And I mentioned him
He
yesterday.
wasn't there yesterday.
And he wasn't there yesterday, but the stats that come out of that are not going to be as, people aren't going to be awestruck by our stats related to that
But
service.
they say the vehicle to look full.
It's
However,
not, and it's also not cheaper.
yeah, it's not that much cheaper.
You're not gonna save money.
We might say, Lily,
But the other point, real quick, is that these vehicles can do triple duty. When they're circulating through the neighborhoods, they can move some seniors. They can move some general public people, get them to the transit system or to services near their neighborhood. And the third piece is we can expand our paratransit system. And so you've got people who are outside of the current geographic area that are eligible for paratransit that can now ride this system. And that we should get some, pun intended,
Did
some
you have
mileage out of that.
did you have super cats once here?
We did. So, and you're not stuck with that fare. I mean, we got to think about what the fare is going to be for these things, which may, improve or hurt our bottom line from that perspective. I don't know, but we need to think about that.
well, and it might, on the average, reduce the cost of our paratransit.
Well, and at least the unit cost,
Yeah.
like, our $57 per trip should go down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another thing that I didn't have this on my checklist, I just made it, but
That's not even industry standard. That's actually pretty good.
what about technology? Is that just part of the budget that we're gonna?
Yeah, well, part of the FY 25 revised budget is I took some old $5307 and I moved it towards technology. So about 400,000 in federal dollars, partnered with 100,000 in local dollars to do a technology implementation program. And
that
the rest of that I want to use for work with the facilities, like 130,000.
But that 400,000 or 400 plus 100 wouldn't begin fare boxes.
Oh, I mean, it's gonna, if I need to bring in some more for that, we will, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of money on fare boxes. So we've got,
You're gonna get like low cost fare
we've
boxes.
got to figure out what that looks like. But I'm hoping that will be enough for full implementation of the current fleet.
And when do we need to, I mean, if we're giving rides away for free and because our fare boxes are not working, when do we need to get this fare box thing going?
It needs to happen this calendar year. Need to start cranking on it.
What,
RFP is written, it just needs to be released. And I gotta get a grant, like the whole grant procedure right now is up in arms because both my pre-award and my post-award planners at FDA Region 4 are not there anymore. So we've got some issues on that side of the house too. It's a tangled web that we weave.
yes, I mean, I understand that, yeah.
So along those lines, what's your take on the availability of external funding?
I think we don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen with federal funding, at all. I think tentative grant funds are the most uncertain. For the facility side of things, bus and bus facilities grant, low, no emission grant, that's kind of where we were looking most, raise grant as well. Those haven't been released, so we don't know what's going on with that. So, which is why it's important to rely as heavily as you can on state, local, county funds, which
Who many times get their money from the federal, from the federal government, like we have, money's not being released and people in Africa and different countries, little children are dying because of it. And the last thing, we're gonna say, we need it for transit more than for little children to live. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And I don't know how you can plan it. I don't
It's
think-
not,
Have the plan,
it's
but
not easy, not
So
easy.
You plan by knowing where the money is not in the federal government. So you go to the counties, which the counties have agreed to coordinate with Coast RTA and go after state funds together. Brian's also been working with other agencies across the region to lobby the state to increase their contributions to mass transit across the board.
And that's up next.
Okay, great. So I'd say, right, Katie, you really can't depend on federal funds in the long term, or at least not over the next 4 years.
Yeah,
We don't know what's gonna happen. So wherever you can, focus your attention on county, state, and
Right.
local contributions.
Do we have a date, our facility grant for the new maintenance facility? Do we have a date when the next grant's gotta be submitted?
We don't have, the grants haven't even been released.
Okay.
We don't know if they're going to be. The next grant we would apply for is the bus and bus facilities grant, or the low-no mission grant. But those haven't been released. We don't know. Yeah. The
Which is a good thing, because we've got quite a bit of work to do on our cost estimate. So we'll be ready
Okay.
when it, whatever form, and taking electric buses out of the project is,
helpful.
at least, in the short term, is not a bad thing,
It's about $400,000 per bus, isn't it?
easily.
more than
Easily.
that.
Uh,
Well,
It's
depends on if we do like a hybrid or if we just go straight for diesel.
he's talking about additional to a bus, 400,000 additional to a regular bus.
Yeah.
Oh,
An
yeah,
electric bus is about $1 million per copy.
yeah.
Diesel bus is about 600,000. Did you have something, Lily Jean? Okay, so that concludes the Brian and Mary Kate show. We're here all week. Please tip your server.
How about Industry Day? We
reschedule that for April. Do we have a date though?
They actually have a meeting with Paul later today to talk about that.
So we'll have a date here soon.
We need to get the site plan and the cost of the. Yeah.
Before you leave this area about whatever state, but the state's sitting on a ton of money right now, right?
Supposedly,
Is that where you're going?
that's next.
Sorry.
So I just wanted to let you all know what Task is up to. We've put together, we've done this locally, got some help from Lauren on this and the T2H folks. I get them mixed up with T3S, which is at, Clemson. This is, our take on the whole state mass transit funds debacle. And if you take a look at these two pie charts, the pie chart on the left, which is much bigger and has only got 7 slices, is what SMTF looked like in 1987. There were 7 systems. They released $6 million. That was $850,000 per system on average. In 2025, which is the pie chart on the right, that 6 million, according to the CPI, has about $2.5 million of buying power. And it's split up 34 ways. So the average amount per system is 176,000. We're about twice the average. We get about 300,000 a year in SMTF. It would be a little bit more than that, except we traded some of ours a couple years ago. So we are going to the state to ask them for funding to increase the I got an old version here, to increase the 6 million to 80 million, which we don't have a lot of confidence that they'll get to that point. But at the very least, we want the conversation to get started. And honestly, we've been asked by SCDOT to hold off on this. But if you think about some of the other systems around the state, which are in worse shape than we are from a cash perspective, certainly don't have a Ride 4 on the horizon like we do. They are hurting. Got some systems who are behind on their fuel payments. And this is both the level of funding at the state as well as the amount of time it takes for the state to pay us on the funding that they do give us. I have serious concerns about whether or not our rural program is going to start up on time. And so as an association, we decided not to slow this down. And we've gone ahead and distributed this to the state legislature. I didn't forward it to everybody, probably should have, but there was an article in one of the Fox affiliate in Columbia about two individuals from the old OPT office who were indicted on federal charges for tampering with federal documents. Basically, they changed dates, I think. I don't think it goes any further than that, to meet requirements. That is only part of the fallout that SCDOT is having with FTA, as it relates to their management of 5311, which is the rural program, 53, small urban 5307, and a couple of 5339 programs, and the RTAP program, which is probably where they had the most findings, which is what we did use for a period of time, for training and things like that.
Task conference.
But Ron and I got so fed up with the requirements that they had, which apparently weren't right in the first place, for $600. We don't mess with it anymore, but some systems really depended on it. And so they have been currently in an FMO. All of our board members know what an FMO is, right? Remember that a few years ago? Where they stick the microscope where the sun don't shine. The state is now going through it. It's been going on for like 5 weeks. Ours took a week and a half plus, associated connecting points. And so they're a mess right now. At last count, they had at least $50 million in federal dollars sitting in unobligated balance. Unobligated balance, not in any grant. I don't know what color those dollars are. Those assorted grants, sorted programs. And at least 10 million in SMTF that they've accumulated over the years.
So if this,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
If there's a delegation meeting on Friday, which I have not heard anything about and doubt it will happen, are you interested in presenting
I
or
think so.
think so?
I think so. If was it this Friday?
That's what you told me, and I have not heard anything, and I really forgot about it until this morning.
So,
I was hoping to
only for what you said. I
chat
have
with
calendar.
several of them last night. I don't know how much of our local delegation was there last night. Although by happenstance, one of my Greenville counterparts in the Transit Association was talking with the news reporter, Tim McGinnis. Sorry, a little brain fart. Bless you.
Bless you.
And he's on board with the other part of our legislative agenda is getting some direction on the ability to trespass passengers who violate. So those are the two items, is more SMTF and this trespassing ordinance or statute. And so yeah, the answer to that question is when they're available. I've been talking with Carla Schusler about getting in front of her and others.
I'll check on it today and I'll let you know as soon as I know.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm concerned about where OPT is and where CDOT is on funding, especially the formula programs, but also bus money. They were supposedly going to be releasing some bus money this year. We haven't heard boo from them, except please delay or ask for more funds.
Yeah, sure, we'll delay it, yeah.
In addition to that,
So we're not delaying, we're not delaying it, and I would imagine there's some political capital that we're spending there. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of it. And I think I'll just have more as it kind of plays out. I was hoping to be there last night. It was the main reason why I was forcing the trip to Columbia last night that got waylaid, but kind of glad I didn't go because I'm much fresher today. But I kind of wish I did go so I could talk to a few of those folks.
you mentioned South Carolina sitting on 50 million of unallocated federal funds. How much is sitting on that's been obligated but not distributed? I'm worried that this stuff's going.
Yeah, well, typically, and I understand your nervousness. Typically, if it's in a grant, the feds don't mess with it.
Ah,
Unless it's been sitting around for a while, typically.
okay.
Yeah.
And the grants that Trump went after in his first week were trying to go to agencies that had a particular kind of focus on things like DEI and
Yeah.
transit was not really ever on the list. Now that could change. And they're working on a budget that's got some pretty healthy cuts in it. I'm not sure how that's gonna impact formula dollars.
Ask, how did they come up with $50 million of unobligated funds to begin with? I would think everything's
Well, there's-
cost reimbursement thing.
There's a lot of 5311 programs around the state that are not spending their money. So those typically get reallocated in a bus buy or, those types of things. And so I don't know if I don't remember, but they did a huge vehicle procurement back in like the mid-teens, right when we got here, so we could replace all the milk trucks, or a bunch of them. And I think they did another one in the early 20s, and now we're ready, before all of this stuff went down, to do another round. And so that was the primary way they were gonna spend down these dollars. But it's not just 5311 is less than half of it. The rest of it is, I don't think they have any ARPA funds. If they did, those are gone. Those lapsed. I don't think they had any. They do have some CARES Act money, which doesn't supposedly have a lapse, but if it's unobligated, that's definitely on the table for pulling it back. And then they have a bunch of $5339, which is what they flexed for us to buy the parcel. And so they owe us another flex to help build the transit center. And I haven't heard anything about that. And so I keep talking about it in our budgetary conversations, but I got to get an answer from them on whether or not it's really going to be available. And that's 2.5 million in flex 5339 and $1 million in this 2-for-1 deal, or close to it, like 995,000, that I haven't gotten yet. And so it's not pretty. And I'm keeping you guys up to speed on this primarily because it will affect how much money we have to borrow. I mean, that number goes up if I've got $1 million in 5311 that I'm not going to get on time. So it's, and I thank our lucky stars that we have the wherewithal to do it. Because otherwise we're going to be parking some service.
When we say we got the money to build a transfer center, we got the money for the parcel. Say we got the money.
And that's been obligated. I mean, that's been spent.
But the transfer center itself, you still need $1 million from.
I need 3.5 million from them. And then it partnered with 2.5 from
That's
I
what,
pointed Mary Kate when I say the
so we really
right
don't.
$4.
You broke that 3.5 into two pieces though, didn't you?
Yeah, 2.5 in regular flex dollars that they agreed to give us 6 million for facilities. Remember 2 years ago? I've only got 3 million of it, 3.5 million of that.
You got it though.
Yeah, it's at the court system now for the
Best
parcel.
thing is the last.
2.5 of it.
We need the other $1 million to build the transfer center.
We need that 2.5 plus $1 million to build a transit center.
Okay.
Adds another year to the wait.
Well, at least Elizabeth Tucker's been in this room before.
So, I mean, why Elizabeth Tucker? She doesn't really have anything to do with this part, except to get it into the tip.
Who's Elizabeth Tucker?
She's a new Marksville Will.
She's a new one?
Marksville Will.
The new
Oh,
NPO
oh, oh.
person.
How come I don't know that?
She was here once.
I wasn't here for it. I must be-
Let's let Ryan get on with it.
I mean, that's everything. I guess I have one other thing. I mentioned to you all last month that we did get visited by what is now called the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services. Used to be DHEC. It's gotten fractured into a number of different agencies. And this is the one that came and inspected our stormwater protection program, which we don't have. And they raked us over the coals on a number of different things. And so
Is that for this building?
that is for this building.
Oh, well, they have water.
But then it also occurred to me that we need a permit for the other building. And so we've got a lot of work to do on this. I've got until March 11th, to respond to this letter. I'll give it to you. And we gotta probably get a consultant to come in and write our SWPP. You want to see if you guys can have somebody that can do that?
We
I
have
was
one
gonna say,
from
the.
I bet Tim and those guys can do it.
I know,
Yeah.
Tim's team, they have somebody that does.
flooded the
stormwater
place.
services.
All right.
Had a problem with that.
So we said SWPP.
We had to fix that. Did we ever fix that?
I'm sorry, what was that question?
Did we ever fix the flooding that was,
We had a flooding
back
problem
here.
in the back.
We fixed it with sandbags.
Yeah, we have some sandbags that were strategically placed by Mr.
Is that-
Berta, I
Is
think.
that legal?
Um,
Is that what they're talking about, the door?
yeah, because we've got a drainage ditch in the back that we don't own that
Oh,
hasn't,
that's not our ground?
no, that's the bank's.
Oh, oh,
And I don't think it's been maintained.
oh.
So,
Guess not.
no, I don't think that's really on the table for us. I will say that the construction across Fourth Avenue concerns me a little bit as it relates to stormwater. Because
Oh, in
the
back.
healthcare partners building is gonna rearrange the stormwater.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been in touch with them to make sure that they're keeping an eye on that for us. I think they're putting in a new pond in the back, basically where the old building used to be. And then the new building will be up against the street.
They're required to, not add any more water to stormwater.
And it's Mashburn that's working on it, so I trust those guys, so, we'll see. Hopefully they'll be one of the ones to bid on our buildings.
Anything else
So
for
that is it. That concludes the GM report.
Anybody else got questions for
That's
Brian or
one thing in-
comments or
Positive. end.
Mary Kate or for Brian? No? Okay. Any old business? New business? I need a motion to go into executive session. Second. Second. Is there any discussion on going into executive session? And do we still have a quorum?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Randall's online as well too. I don't
Okay.
know if he has, microphone, but he can, type in the chat
Okay.
or text somebody.
All right, all those in favor of going into executive session, please say aye.
Who are the motions on that? I'm sorry.
Katie and
You
Joe.
got it, okay.
Ellen, what do you think?
Wow.
I'm surprised she's still awake and isn't turning the stone
I've
back.
never been to a board meeting before, so it was a new experience.
Well, that's what,